Hey everyone, Arcade here to give you my 2 cents on a game that ate up the last week of my life. Today, we take a look at Destiny 2. Let's talk about it. Destiny 2 was released September 6, 2017 for Xbox One and PS4, as well as on October 24th, 2017 for PC. Destiny 2. Oh man, where do I begin with this one? Right off the bat, I'd like to go on record and state that this is my first foray into anything Destiny, so my views on this game may differ significantly from those of someone who has been with the series since the beginning. Now let's talk story for a second here. The whole main plot of Destiny 2 is a bit cliche and ultimately unmemorable. Set some time after the first game, an army of foul, flappy, ferocious freaks known as the Red Legion, led by the infamous noseless pugman named Dominus Gall, show up and decide to take possession of the Solar System Intergalactic Museum and its coveted spherical installation art piece called the Traveler, all because Dominus' dumbass believes that the Traveler will bestow upon him some sort of advanced art techniques and talents, or whatever. In doing so, there's a major power outage throughout the solar system, and nearly all light is lost. You play as an interplanetary custodian who is tasked with restoring the light to the solar system, as well as removing the vermin menace from the art display room. Dominus and friends understandably become frustrated once the news reaches them that they'll soon be evicted, and in retaliation, aim their super ultra mega ultimate extreme sun destroyer 3000 at the sun with the intention of destroying the entire solar system museum of spherical arts. If anything, the story here serves as a way for you to familiarize yourself with the mechanics of the game and reach the level cap, which is currently set at level 20. Some games have done this in the past, which is completely fine with me. What isn't fine with me though, is when a game publisher promotes their game as this epic, immersive, grandiose tale, and ultimately delivers a lackluster story. If you've ever played Diablo 3, then you should have at least somewhat of an idea of what I'm talking about here. I appreciate the effort put into making a story and all, but maybe next time, I don't know, maybe make something that actually feels authentic and not a carbon copy of all these other sci-fi films or games we've seen a million times over. I mean, come on, Bungie. You gave us Halo 3. Halo fucking 3. One of the funnest, most memorable first-person shooters I've ever played. I remember playing that game on Legendary, into the deep hours of the night with my friends, trying to complete it before the sun began to shine over the horizon. To this day, I still remember when we finally beat the game, and the sense of accomplishment and future nostalgia it gave me. Unfortunately, I can't say that that's going to be the same case with Destiny 2. Ultimately, the story let me down here a little bit, and that was unfortunate. Now, while Bungie has seemed to have lost their touch as far as writing captivating stories goes, they sure as hell haven't forgotten how to make a damn good looking game. Destiny 2 is an absolute treat to look at. Each of the 4 main planets you get to explore are varied and popping with color. There's a nice contrast between the worlds here, even if 1 or 2 of them look like better detailed versions of planets from No Man's Sky. The locations on each planet are nice and diverse as well, which gives some more texture and variance to these locations. You could stand next to an old church in a desolate European town one minute and be ducking and weaving your way through the ventilation of a gigantic warship the next. And that's all just on one planet. Everything here, as far as the display goes, is some top tier shit. You got particle effects, vibrant colors, dense yet soft god rays. You want decent performance, customizable settings, and the best graphics possible? Get this game for PC. Yeah, that's right, we got it for PC. You want the best experience? Play on PC. Yeah, PC. We got best settings, we've got best controls, we've got best, yes, master race PC for the win. Yeah, internet text, LOL, memes, holy fuck, we have memes, dank ass bomb ass internet memes, make them and you get points. We've got all the points, so many points. You like points? They come down to PC internet place. We have best, just the best, nothing but the best for you. This game runs well, at least on PC, and looks phenomenal. But that's kind of what you expect when you purchase a $60 AAA title. The music in Destiny 2 is some hella primo sound soup as well. You may want to blow on it a bit though, because it's going to come out pretty piping hot. Bungie has written excellent video game soundtracks numerous times in the past, and it's nice to see them do it again with Destiny 2. From the very beginning of the game, you're hit with sweeping cinematic scores that instantly immerse you and increase your badassness by 110%. While none of these really stuck with me at all, if I'm being honest, in the moment, these soundtracks always seemed to perfectly fit what I was currently doing. If I was out in one of the worlds looking up at the blanket of stars in the sky above, there would often be slow, gentle pads gliding around in the background. It gave me the same feeling I got looking up at the auroras illuminating the skies in Skyrim, while soft strings played in the distance. But if I was somewhere different, like say running through the corridors in an abandoned rig in the middle of the ocean fighting off countless hordes of the infected, the music would be pounding percussion, sharp string swells, and stinging synths, reminiscent of something like Doom's soundtrack. Overall, the music here in Destiny 2 is one of my favorite things about the game. Sound-wise, this game knocks it out of the park also. There's an added reverb to everything as you descend into dark caverns. There's variance in how each of the guns sound. There's a satisfying amount of trembling bass when something explodes. The sound here is so dynamic. It's so textured. It's got layers. Oomph, pow, kablam. It all sounds great. Voice acting here is well done also. First off, you've got the boy Nolan North hanging out with you the whole time playing the role of Ghost, but they had to do him dirty and put this filter over his voice that I found to be somewhat annoying. I actually think his voice without that filter would have been just as acceptable. All the other characters here are voiced well also. Nobody here is lying lines that sound forced or have poor delivery, even if some of the material these actors worked with wasn't the best. There won't really be any memorable lines, as most of it is just nonsense and half-assed one-liners written to progress the story with these shallow yet visually appealing cutscenes. All in all though, presentation-wise, Destiny 2 lives up to the standard set in 2017 for how AAA titles should look and sound. Holy shit, this is a lot to go through. Alright, so we've gone through all of that, and for those of you still following along who have no idea what to do in this game, it's time we finally get you caught up. Destiny 2 is, ultimately, all about shooting cooler guns than your friends, being a higher level than your friends, and finishing raids with your friends before anyone else in the community does. Think of it as something like Borderlands, with a visual aesthetic similar to Halo, mixed with a first-person version of Warframe that slept with a disgruntled trashed MMO that it met at a bar one night named Defiance. Mash these things up together in a press, and out comes the Destiny series, or at least Destiny 2. That's not a bad mix though, in all actuality. You explore multiple open worlds and take place in Guild Wars style public events, complete story missions or side quests, explore hidden mini-dungeons, as well as numerous other activities. And you can do the vast majority of all of this either alone or with friends. Now that's where one of my biggest gripes with this game does come up, however. Before release, it was blatantly stated that Destiny 2 was not an MMO, but this is complete bullshit and it isn't hard to see. A lot of the later game content requires you to have a team of your own built up to run said content. For people with social lives, unlike me, finding friends to play with is no issue at all. But what about those of us who don't have many friends who game, or play at odd hours of the night? It's a problem that would be easily solved if I could just talk to fellow Destiny players as I run into them, but I can't. Why? Because the game doesn't allow you to talk to others in the world unless you whisper to them specifically, and even then, whispers are turned off by default in the options. If this isn't an MMO, then why the fuck are there all these group activities all over the place, and multiple players roaming in open world environments together, taking on group events? Let's see, there's over 1 million people playing Destiny 2. That's massive. There are areas in which multiple players are in the same area at once. That's multiplayer. You have to be connected to the internet to play this game at all times. That's online. Am I missing something here? The point I'm trying to make is that MMO or not, this game is best played with friends, as there is no convenient way to make friends here. So what is the point of doing all these aforementioned activities? It's all for the loot, silly? The precious loot. The sweet, sweet glimmery pile of glitchy gold that waits your embrace after an activity in this game. You'll constantly be finding newer, better, and more unique gear that drops at a fairly consistent rate throughout playing Destiny 2, or at least during the beginning of the game, or more specifically, the story portion of the game. See, after you complete the story, you're really only just beginning the game, because now you're entering the grind zone, a magical place where all growth and progress seems to go out the window, and suddenly any character growth is brought down to an agonizing slow. The growth rate drops dramatically, and now you must really grind to get this drip feed of progress to put out anything for you. But that's part of the fun of it all. Doing activities for hours on end, filling up your inventory with exotic and bright engrams in hopes that RNGesus would bestow some luck upon you. It's a fun loop of shoot, loot, luck out, and repeat. The game also controls very well, which is the last thing I want to touch on. I played on PC, and for the majority of my playtime, I used a controller. I know, but it's just my preferred method of control when it comes to gaming. I did, however, also try using mouse and keyboard for a little while, just to see how it played. While I still don't care for it personally, I can say that it certainly gives you far more precision compared to a controller. The controls are all fluid, responsive, and easy enough to get down. And as an added bonus for those looking to play with keyboard and mouse, the game's keybinds are completely remappable. So now, let's take all these thoughts and collectively mash them up into a verdict for this game. Destiny 2 is one of the best shooters I've played in a long while. I sunk a good 30 or 40 hours into it in the past week alone, and managed to see the majority of the content it offered here, at least for now. The game will only grow in the future with added patches and DLC, and I'm honestly excited to see what the growth will bring. While the story is a bit artificial, and there are definite downsides to playing this game alone, this game still is a great time. There was so much genuine excitement in finding a new gun or a piece of gear, and that excitement lasted throughout my entire playthrough, even into the later game. I'm excited to continue playing Destiny 2, and to see where this game ultimately goes. The gameplay, worlds, sounds, and the looting system here more than make up for the few shortcomings found. I'd say any fans of Borderlands or even Diablo 3 should consider at least looking into Destiny 2. It may be a bit more shallow than other similar multiplayer games out there, but that's okay. This game appeals to the casual gamer. If you're looking for something like a new game to sport a deep in-game community and have insane amounts of depth to it, then Destiny 2 might not be for you. If you are, however, looking for a game to enjoy with a nice cold brewski after a long day at the office, maybe give this FPS some consideration. It may not be perfect, but it is definitely worth full price. So that was my 2 cents on Destiny 2. I hope you enjoyed the review. If you did, maybe support the channel by clicking the whatever, hitting that other whatever, and if you'd like to recommend a game to review, feel free to leave it down in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next week.